I, Ernest Charles Bordelon, declare that this is my last will and testament. To my children, I bequeath 800 acres, equally. Out of every place in this whole world, this land bears our name. Farm it, nurture it, love it. Pass it on to your children and every Bordelon that will come next. Your father, Ernest.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Dad wants us to farm the land.
None of us knows a thing about running a farm.
Well, I want it. For me and Blue to make a fresh start of things.
What your sister had to say about that gladiator shakedown?
We ain't close like that.
What happens now?
We'll stay here. We've got family business to settle.
Be careful, ma'am. We do business a little differently down here than where you come from.
You'd be surprised at how much I know about business.
Your daddy wouldn't want y'all fighting over this.
You gotta get a job. It's a requirement of your parole.
What am I supposed to do? If his own family don't help, who will?
I'm gonna stay and you're gonna hear me out.
You just lost your father.
Don't tell me what I lost.
Do you have any idea what you've done?
I'm not backing away from this.
Talk to the bank about that.
Would you do it for your mother?
Whoa, hold on now.
Boy, you point a gun at my family, you best know how to use it. I know how to use this right here. And I'll let it loose on your ass before I let you take a damn thing my daddy worked for.
I'm sorry, Daddy. I'll fix it.
You guys, congratulations on this show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
This is amazing. I mean, congratulations on not just making a good show, but being a part of this show. It's a landmark show for OWN, right? OWN has been around for a couple of years now. And this summer, they're sort of really moving into drama with Greenleaf and now with Ava DuVernay's show.
Yeah.
This is incredible. Talk to me about what it was like to find out that you got the part in this, Rutina.
Ava called me after my 37th birthday, actually. So it was the greatest birthday present ever.
Happy birthday? I feel like it was like a year ago at this point, but happy birthday.
Yeah. I was like, this is amazing. And she said, I'd love for you to come on and play Nova on Queen Sugar. And also, just so you know, I have cast Dawn-Lyen as Charley. And Dawn and I went to Juilliard together.
Oh, yeah.
And we hadn't seen each other in a couple years.
Since Juilliard?
Yeah, it had been some time. And so that has been the biggest blessing, is working with her. Because we know each other, we already have a sisterhood. And so it was just kind of that added extra, like, oh, we can get straight to the work. Like, we're gonna get to set and really play and not have to figure each other out.
Can I ask, were you guys friends at Juilliard? Were you close?
Yeah, we were, but we hadn't worked together. There was only one time that we got to work together at Juilliard, but it was like one of those life-changing, deep experiences. So we really bonded in that experience. So yeah, getting to do this was like, it took our friendship to another level, I think. It took our sisterhood to another level. And I think it brought something to the relationship on screen that I don't think it would have been there if we hadn't had gone to school together.
Kofi, were you like the odd man out here? You're like,
They don't care about me.
He's a true little brother.
guy.
No, we actually bonded pretty quickly,
Yeah.
I'd
But
say.
you guys weren't in the same year, Juilliard.
No,
either,
we
right?
weren't. We weren't in the same year. Yeah. But we still, we had that time that we worked together, and it was just fast friendship, fast sisterhood.
Honestly, because they already knew each other, it kind of put pressure on us to all get along. And not in a negative connotation, but like we were family from the jump. They knew each other. I jumped in. I'm a guy. I'm like, hey guys, you guys are so pretty. Oh my God, I want to be your friend.
Pretty girls, pretty girls.
All right, okay. And it's all women directors. And
yeah, I want to talk about that.
All right. Shout out to
Right?
that.
All
Shout out to
women?
that.
All women directors?
Before we even get to that, I gotta ask: did you feel a certain amount of pressure going into the show? I mean, it's Ava, who this is her first thing since Selma, and then its own sort of making this big transition, and those are two huge things. All of you have been a part of TV shows before, but when you're when you're like the second drama on a network to ever exist, that's much different than being like the third drama that's on after 9 o'clock that night. You know, did it feel different for you?
Honestly, because of Ava and Oprah, there was a heightened, stakes as an actor. But even just the fact that these two actresses next to me went to Juilliard, and they have many years of experience on me, and I just respect them so much. So I think even that was a bigger part of my worries. I was like, damn, bro, they went to Juilliard. Like they're like technical.
Better look good. I better show up and look good for them.
They about to kill this. Like they probably don't even act. They just look at you or something. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, but that was the scary part. But again, they were so welcoming. It just kind of just gelled really, really, really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what's lovely about it is that I think the show is really a reflection of, I think, the times now that we're living in. I mean, we do touch on a lot of topics that I think are really going to make people want to talk and engage with each other, communicate, I would hope. I mean, my ultimate goal is I just want people to walk away talking about it. Like, let's strike up some conversations, let's shed some light, and see if we can maybe have some compassion for each other and sort of see how we can keep coming together as a world community. And so I'm very proud to be a part of something that is so specific to the now, and the slice of life of now, the perspective from now. It's very deeply rooted in reality, which I think is really great.
That's it. Oh, sorry, Dawn, go ahead.
It's actually a reflection of Ava, I think, and Oprah. They're both two people who respond to whatever's happening in the world, and it's reflected in their artistry, it's reflected in everything they touch. So I think that was the biggest thing. It was like there was pressure, but it didn't feel like pressure, it felt like excitement, to communicate what they communicate.
There was no time for it to translate as pressure. It's like, I feel like it's life. Like life feels like it's like, oh my, it's just life. You just have to jump in and you just have to just close your eyes and just like T said, just breathe. She wrote that on her first script.
I did my first day.
I actually stole that from her.
You write just breathe where?
I wrote breathe ...
Where?
On my script, my very first script for the table read. I sat down and I went breathe.
So
and I just had to remind myself because it was intense. It was like, this is really happening. It seems so surreal, but it's actually happening. And you just sometimes got to be still and take a moment so that you can really take it in, And I did that. And now I just, whenever I get a little chaotic, I'm like, breathe. Like now. And then it just keeps you going.
I want to go back to one of the things that you said, which is, and we should talk about what the show is about and who these characters are, but what you said about the show being a reflection of the times that we live in, what I really gravitated towards and loved about the show was that it is that reflection, but it's also so much more than that. It doesn't feel obsessed with being issue-driven. It doesn't feel obsessed with telling the story, the sole story of Black America, which I think so many television shows kind of get caught up in, especially television shows that are driven by white creators. This is being said by a straight white man right now, so sorry, but you know what I mean? Like, so many of them just feel obsessed with headlines rather than obsessed with the living, breathing life of the characters. And I think this show has so much more of that in it.
Yeah.
We all could say something about that. Ava, his biggest goal is to just reflect everyday life. She wanted us to be everyday people. A lot of, TV shows surrounding Black people is always heightened stakes, which isn't a bad thing because we love those shows. They're exciting, they're entertaining, but at the same time, we want to just be able to see ourselves, see our brothers, see our sisters, see our family members, and have a little more compassion just for what we go through on an everyday basis. So I definitely agree.
Absolutely.
And
oh, Dawn, go ahead.
Ava's such a storyteller. Her loyalty is always going to be to story and to character. And just like in our lives, nothing's a headline in our lives. It's just they're issues that we deal with, but we're living our lives. So I think she's got such an honest and wonderful appreciation of story, and it was always easy to just go back to that.
Yeah. Talk to me about your characters.
Oh, Miss Nova Bordelon. Oh. She is a lot of things, y'all. Get ready. She's a beautiful mess. That's kind of how I like to describe her. And I say mess in the sense of she's so incredibly textured and layered. On one hand, she's got her fist in the air, and then on the other hand, she goes home to her married white lover, who's a cop. And so it's
Who is that guy, by the way? I'm sorry, I don't know his...
Calvin.
Every time he showed up on screen...
Greg Vaughn.
Every time that actor showed up on screen, I was like, you're almost too handsome to be in this shot right now.
Exactly. I was like, wait, who's playing Calvin?
Right.
Oh, right. Greg Vaughn. Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, I can do it. I can breathe. But no, you know, she's a lot of things, and I love that she's very human in the sense of she's not perfect. She's incredibly flawed. Right. But what I love about her is she's very comfortable in her own skin. I mean, she's an avid journalist, activist, healer. She sells marijuana. She uses it to heal.
That part.
Right, that part. And then that ends up like, you know, kind of getting her into a situation with a teenager who ended up buying the marijuana, not from her, but it's a, you know, so she has to really sort of start to question her morals and the things that she's doing. I liken her to Mark Ruffalo's character in Spotlight because he has that charm in a sense of, I think a person would go to him to tell their story. She's the type of reporter and journalist that a person would go, you know what, I'm actually going to tell you my truth and my story because I actually think you will serve my story and actually tell it truthfully and do right by me. She's that journalist. People really come to her in the community for advice, help, healing. She's that woman.
One of the things that I thought the show really got right about her character, I can't necessarily say got right, that I liked, was that her anger and her pride at times, which makes her such a good journalist, is what also makes her somewhat flawed within her family, where she misdirects her anger in strange ways at family members that are kind of like, that doesn't require that amount of anger.
It's a little hot,
right
Nova.
now.
It's a little hot. Yeah.
Right. That's dope.
Kofi, you want to talk about your character?
Yes, Mr. Ralph Angel Bordelon. The way I describe him is an imperfect yet very ambitious man. He's dealing with dual personalities, again, like I feel we all are. He has that guy he's been in the past, and he has the guy he wants to be in the present, in the future for himself and his son. So he's formerly incarcerated, trying to reinvent himself, re-enter society without, you know, the stigma of who he was once again. So I just think he's complicated. He's a beautiful mess as well. He just has such great intention, but he doesn't really know how to channel it, and he's just working so hard to figure that out. And he just wants the support of his friends and the world around him without being judged, again, like all of us.
I think he also wants to, in many ways, do it on his own. One of the sort of defining characteristics of every member of this family, I think, is a variation of pride. You know,
Yeah,
like
so much
each
pride.
of them have their own pride.
He has so much pride, and he looks up to his father so much. And now that his father's passed away, he feels this, you know, weight to really be everything he was never. You know, he never was looked at as, you know, when his father was alive. So I just feel like it's a journey. You know, he's really just dealing with that journey, and he there's a fire. Then it's just nobody believes in Ralph Angel. You know, so I just feel like I've felt like that before. I feel like, you know, it's really common, and he's working, and it's like there's a lot of roadblocks, but he doesn't stop. You know, and that's just a great message I feel for all of us to take. It's just like, don't stop, keep going. You know.
The father, who I should mention, I forget the actor's name, but is played
Glenn
by
Turman. We cannot forget
Glenn
Turman.
Turman.
The Glenn Turman.
The Glenn Turman.
Amazing.
The Glenn Turman. Shout out
He
to
was Mayor Clarence Royce in The Wire.
Yeah.
The wonderful Mayor Clarence Royce. Dawn, you want to talk about your character?
Sure. So Charley Bordelon West, she is a very different Charley from the book, which the show is based on. She's sort of a different kind of a mess. She's sort of a secret mess, you know? She's a bit of a superwoman. She's a master strategist. She's the manager of her superstar basketball husband, Davis West. She's a mother of a 15-year-old. And she's very, very wealthy, very, very powerful. She's sort of got the dream in terms of the house and the money and the status and all of that. And when all of that gets turned upside down, she sort of finds herself, I think, a bit lost and realizing the kind of mess that maybe she's been in and was in denial about. So we see her go back to her family, and it's not easy. They have been disconnected for a long time, and that's really what I think the show sort of is focused on, is how do we all get to know each other again at a point, at a crossroads when our father dies. What do you do? How do you create intimacy when you are so far apart? And I think it's something everyone can relate to, you know?
And I think for your character as well, it's like, how do I maintain this kind of type A part of myself when I can't do the thing that I was doing before. And
Totally.
she kind of finds it eventually, at least where I ended up in the show. I don't want to give anything away. She finds it, and it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of what she's hunting for as often as possible.
Well, I think she's defined herself by her husband. You know, all of her, quote, success has been literally defined by her husband's success. She's built this brand for him. And when you do that, I think you can lose a part of yourself. You can sort of just lose sight of what you're really about, or maybe even never make contact with it. So, you know, part of what we're exploring in this show is when she goes back to Louisiana, it's definitely like a new world thinking in an old world. And how do you function? How do you navigate that? How do you define yourself at that point? Yeah. So, yeah.
So, as you mentioned, every episode is directed by a woman, which is incredible. I don't think that's ever been done in a television series. And I have to ask, did you know that was going to happen going into it, or did you show up for episodes? Oh, we got another female director. This is great.
No idea.
This is different than most TV shows that I've been on.
No idea.
You know, the first, I couldn't believe it, but I realized the first woman director I've had on a TV show was Ava in this series. Right. And then it was women directors after that. It was incredible. And I think there's something sort of paradigm shifting about that. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, something that hasn't been done is done, and then you realize there's no reason it shouldn't be done. It just,
I gotta ask, how does that feel as, Kofi, I'll go to you in just a second, but how does that feel as women who've worked in TV, did 50, 60 episodes of True Blood, right? How does that feel as a woman to sort of start noticing all of these women directing?
As an actor, for me, as a woman, it makes me really proud to know that women are seen in the same light, the same status, the same level. They can do the same things. I love our male directors, but I loved the sensitivity and also just the different perspective that our women directors brought to our show. They were very collaborative. It wasn't about necessarily putting their stamp on our show. It was about, what story are you telling? How can we help to serve that?
Which is the same thing that a male director would do on a TV show, so why is it impossible, or why are we not having more female directors on TV shows?
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. Why are we not?
There's no reason.
It was beautiful, and it's just nice that I think in 2016 we can really be like, oh, wow, look how far we've come to have a series where every episode was directed by a woman. It's just, I couldn't believe, I didn't think we could do it, but we did it. And not only did we do it, I think we really kind of knocked it out the park. I mean, the directors we had were amazing. They all were beautifully amazing, so.
Absolutely. Kofi, you're the odd man out again here?
I mean, as a man, I just feel like it's amazing, and it shouldn't be so rare. You know, when I heard about it, it was like, shout out to the women. But when I heard about it, I was so surprised, and I didn't realize why. Like, I didn't really understand why was this so shocking in 2016. Like, we make such a big deal about it as if it shouldn't happen every day on every show, at least 50-50. At least, all right, you got at least 7 women and 6 dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be Ava DuVernay to be the only person in Hollywood to initiate this mind-blowing ground.
It shouldn't be a political act.
It shouldn't be political
at all. It should just be the way that it is.
It's just life. There's women create men. That's all I have to say.
Yes, they do.
That's all I have to say.
If women can create men, they can create television.
And they can create television. Hello. Period.
I'm curious, Dawn, I'm curious about your character story with her husband and the scandal that she's embroiled in, because it's an aspect of the show that I once again love, where I think a scandal like that on most TV shows would be heightened to the most dramatic effect and really try to play into the social aspects of it. But I think this show does a really great job of making it much more personal and about the personal for your character. Can you talk about that?
Well, that's what hooked me into her. You know, when I first read the script, she is this glamorous, woman living this very high style, it's that whole very glitzy, glittery life. And I think we've seen that a lot, and it's always attractive and lovely, but it's when it crashes. That's when I said, now I'm interested. Now I'm really interested. Because I think there's something to these scandals that are, I wouldn't say entertaining, but there's a sort of salacious, ooh, what's happening with so-and-so? And underneath that is a human, is a person whose complete sense of identity just vanished. And that was, for me, the key part of her journey, and it made me wonder where she's going to go next because of how Ava wrote it and dealt with it on the page. So I had total trust that it wasn't going to be handled in a way that was, sort of flashy, that it was actually the point of this is about the core of this person being absolutely forced to confront herself. That's actually the point of the scandal.
I think it shows exactly, or also how sort of surface the politics of a story can be, and that what's really interesting is what the personal that lurks underneath the politics of a situation. Yeah. Because there's politics, I think, to all of the situations that your characters are in, but the stories themselves, or the way that Ava and the other writers and directors are approaching it, is on a much more personal level, which I find so much more engrossing than I think a standard story would be on television. What was it like working with Oprah? Just drop that one in there.
Man, I'm just gonna drop the mic.
Yeah, I know, really.
Did you get cars? No.
I got a house in Maui.
Right. I got more than a car. I got inspired is what I got.
Preach.
She's got to be one of those people where if you haven't met her yet, there's so much built around who she is that like as soon as she enters a room, whether she emits an aura or not, there's going to be a massive aura around her because of her legacy.
I wanted to add to that. That's all I know. You know what I'm saying? I'm 22 years old. All I know is her legacy. I don't know the fullness of what Oprah really means to the world. Like, I'd be lying if I said I did. So with that being said, to jump into the place that we're at, we're here to create Queen Sugar, which is this new wave that we're trying to bring to OWN. It just feels like this huge responsibility to do the story justice and to do Oprah justice. Like, she's so much to so many people, and for her to trust us to be such a big part of her, like, legend. Like, she's just historic. She's just everything. Like, that was my biggest thing, was like, I just want to do your story justice. I want to do you justice. And I just want you to be proud of me for all the right reasons.
I can't imagine she walks into the room with you guys and says, "Don't screw up my legacy.
Don't mess it up.
Right.
Have a good day on set." Not it.
I think the most satisfying thing about working with her is that she is exactly who you think she is. Mm-hmm. She comes into the room, and everything you think she is, she's that times 10. Period. She's that generous and that present and that loving and all of that stuff. She is that. And so even when she wasn't there, you felt that energy. You felt that support. You felt that cheerleading. You felt the belief. It was constant. So it was such a, working with your heroes, that can be a little dangerous, because if they fall short, then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? And it was the exact opposite. They only became greater. They only became more of a role model, more of something that you wanted to honor. Period. All the time.
All the time.
Regina, I think I read that you nearly fainted when you met Oprah for the first time.
Who told you that? Yeah, I think when they were like, she's coming, I think I literally went the other direction and hid. I tried to hide behind whatever column was in there, and I literally was hiding until she kind of saw me, and I was like, oh, can't hide anymore. There she is. And I just opened my arms, and I lost it, because she held me with such an embrace that was very, like, I got you. I support you. You are loved. You are here. Welcome. And she didn't even say any of those words, but the energy of the embrace was very like, oh, when you feel like, as an actor, you feel like you're about to soar, you're about to embark on something that is a safe place to really create and play and work, and how great that is for an actor to feel safe, to have a safe place to work from. Felt that immediate when I saw her, and then I got the idea of when I saw her, I was like, I get it, like, I know what she is, but when you meet her, you really see what everyone else sees, and it's like, she is everything. She is. She really is everything. And there is, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything negative about Oprah, in the sense of like, because she does. She wears her heart on her sleeve. And I said, gosh, she must be exhausted at the end of her days, because she really is the same with each person. So I felt that immediate,
It's like the exact opposite of "Don't Screw Up My Legacy." It's like, let's do this together.
Yeah.
I'm safe. Let's build this together.
Right. That's exactly right.
Let's open it up to the audience for some questions.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
Here about the show.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good.
Hey.
You guys pretty much touched on what it's like working with female directors, but I was more curious to know of what it was like working with Ava. Like, what is her work ethic like, or what a typical day on set with her is like?
Ava is everything. She is everything, and she was like literally my hero. Walking into this, it was unbelievable. A typical day on set would be first of all, she's like 7 things all the time, right? She's a director, but she's also a writer. She's also a producer. She's also a publicist. She's also a distributor. So she's thinking on 7 levels at any given moment, and yet is completely present, is completely invested in whatever you're doing at that very moment, especially as an actor. And you really need, as a director, for someone to talk intimately about character and about story and what are we really doing in this scene. And she is right there with you. Which is always impressive because she's managing like 7,000 things at any given moment. She, I think, again, is one of the most loyal people to story that I've ever met. So it isn't, although she is a lover of beauty, right, and will always go for the most beautiful shot, she will get into the details of really what story are we telling. And as an actor, it's so grounding. You can trust that. You can fly with that. She's incredible.
And also what moves the story along.
That's
too.
right.
Like you can get into the details, I think, sometimes of a story and get lost, but when you're, especially a television show, you gotta zip. You gotta move pretty quick. And she so clearly is moving from beat to beat and getting this story moving along.
Yeah. Shout out to the writers for spending so much time developing the characters. You can't have a great story without great characters, you know? And I feel like we had so much depth. Like every single week, we don't know what's gonna happen next. We go to set and it's like, all right, you see 105 yet? I ain't see it. You see it? You see what you're doing in 105?
Have you guys finished shooting?
Yeah, we're done. The first season.
You're done shooting.
But we got picked up for a second season,
right.
So next year we're gonna do that. Yes,
congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question.
Hi, it's gonna be amazing because I'm super excited. Give me a second, I have to breathe, ...
Hey.
Okay.
There you go.
Bruce, so I'm the Nova in my family. So having like women writers, like how much the depth, like how really, because I know you worked before a long time, like how was it like getting to the meat of the characters for the writing? Like did they do it or did you really have to like search down because they're really deep characters?
Well, you know, Nova is not in the book, and so Nova came from Ava. And I felt a huge responsibility to do right by this character that came from this amazing woman's brain, because she's amazing. And so for me, I just knew I had to jump off the cliff, meaning I had to go 150% into whatever Nova was, and she's so many things. So her spirituality, when it comes to the healing, as the season goes on, you'll see some of her rituals and things that she does. I really went there. And when you're tapping into some of that stuff, you gotta be careful. So we would like do stuff to make sure I was gonna be okay. You know, we're like, okay, we're talking to okay, I'm gonna get the stuff on my hands, make sure I'm not gonna call upon anything. But you really gotta put yourself there as an actor. And I feel like we had the type of set where it was safe for me to really get vulnerable and go there. And I know that they would have my back. So I know if I got shook up or something happened, I knew the whole set was right there, you know, with me, as well as my fellow actors. You know, having this connection that I've had with Dawn and the sisterhood that we have, when you see us screaming at each other over the things, some of the clips that you've seen, we can really go there, and then afterwards we're like, love you too, you know. But we can get raw, and sometimes you don't have that connection immediately with everybody. Sometimes it takes a couple of episodes to get to know each other, and I love that we can really give you that right off top. I mean, Ava made me and Kofi go out when we first met on some errands. We had to get out and buy something. We had to eat, and we had a budget, and we spent the whole budget. She was like, y'all didn't bring me back no change? I was like,
Brought back like 17 cents or something.
Right. But we bonded immediately, and that's where you're gonna see that, the sisterhood, brotherhood there too with us. Like it's just it was a beautiful way to start this show.
I think we have time for one more question right here.
Hi, you guys. I'm really, really excited that you guys are here, and also double excited that Ava took the initiative to have women directors on this film, because I actually applied to be one of the production assistants.
That's dope.
But my question is to you guys. Your characters, since they're so deep and rich in their backstories, is there something from each of your characters that you're taking to your personal life that you feel that you've learned through this journey?
I love Ralph Angel's humility. You know, through it all, he just tries his best not to explode, not to get angry, not to point fingers. He takes so much pride in, you know, being the one. If you're gonna blame somebody, blame me. But if you're gonna give somebody praise, praise me, because I want to do it I want to do this my way, you know, and he has that ambition. And, you know, I felt I was lending him something, you know, but at the end of the process, I learned, wait. There's levels to this, and there's like this Ralph Angel who lives in this circumstance with these judgments, and how he's still able to be just so him, you know, just so vulnerable and sensitive and still strong. You still can't break him. That just is so inspiring. So I feel like I really admire him for that, as if it's not me. No, I'm kidding.
I think that, you know, you use different parts of yourself in any character, and I think the part of myself that is Charley is very much about the strategist and very much about control at times and that kind of thing. And I think what I got from her, it was like an education playing her, because there was so much, she does not have the ability to back down from whatever's happening in her life. Even when it explodes, like another person, it would have laid them out and they're done. And they got to move away to Michigan and we'll never see them again. That's it. You know what I mean? The way that she takes on her journey is beyond to me. I would read scripts and be like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what she was doing. And there's just a certain amount of courage and a certain amount of action that she was always engaged in. So that I feel like is the thing that I've walked away with, and that I will continue to be walking away with as we move forward with the series.
And taking it into shooting season 2 as well, right?
Yeah. Can't wait for that.
I was just going to say, Nova's very comfortable in her own skin, and I love a woman who is confident and comfortable. And so for me, what I took was it's okay to be who you are, whoever that is, and it's okay to walk in your truth. Just be you. Be in your truth at all times. And you will receive things in the way that you're supposed to receive them. So that's what I took from Nova. I just got real comfortable with Rutina, and that was okay. And so I love that I have that sense of inspiration from her to make me sort of have a better foundation for my own self and who I am as a person.
So now Queen Sugar, September 6th and 7th, right? And the first episode is commercial free.
Commercial free.
Commercial free.
It's crazy that they're doing that. It's incredible.
Ava mentioned it on set, and again, she mentioned she wanted theater seats too, and I saw she got them for her birthday. If she mentions it, it happens. Period.
Yeah.
She has a direct line to the universe.
Literally.
It's scary. Yeah.
Well, guys, congratulations on a really beautiful
Thank you.
show. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.